In verse 17, the prophecy here is this: woe to the worthless shepherd who leaves the flock. A sword will be on his arm and on his right eye. His arm will be totally withered, and his right eye will be blind. So now we have another physical description of the Antichrist. As he begins to come to power, he's going to have a withered arm. That arm might have been withered from birth, maybe a process in the birth canal, maybe how he was birthed, maybe he was a product of a botched abortion. And he comes out and his arm is completely useless and he's not able to use his arm at all. And I believe it's going to be his left arm because it's not specific. It's specific about the right eye. I think they would have said the right hand. His right eye will be blind. So he's going to have a withered arm and blind in one eye. This guy is going to have a fierce face. He's going to be a manipulator. Now, what happens when people look at someone that's partially crippled? What is the natural human tendency for people to do? To have mercy. To be compassionate. To go, oh, look at this person. So he's going to walk in, maybe with an arm tied up, or maybe he's going to stick it in his pocket. We've seen other politicians that had problems with an arm or a hand that would hide the hand. We know, well, I'm not going to name the politicians, but we had 2 politicians that have died in the past 10 years that had hand and arm problems. And so in politics, one of them carried around a pen all the time in one hand just to make it look like it was operational. Another guy just stuck it in his pocket all the time. But he was a famous politician. Both of them were. And he's going to be blind in one eye, so he's either going to wear an eye patch or he's going to have a fake eye in there. And people are going to have just a natural tendency to feel sorry for him and underestimate him. They're going to underestimate him because they're going to look at his body and go, this man couldn't possibly be guilty of everything we heard of. Look at him. He's not all completely there. I do not believe that these injuries will be supported as a result of a war, but they'll be those injuries that came upon him would have came upon him at his birth. Most potentially, when we see a sword, could have been a knife. Could have been a sword in a military campaign when he was younger. However it happens, I don't want to try to prophesy exactly, but it would make sense to me it would be a botched abortion. And he's not going to have the use of his, I believe, his left arm, and certainly we know from Scripture here, his right eye. And he's going to walk into meetings, people are going to underestimate him, Kathleen, and he's just going to run them down. He's going to deal with them, and he's going to get up, he's going to sign contracts, and they're going to think that they just signed the best contract ever, and he's going to get up and he's going to walk out with half of their possessions, and they're not going to know it for months or years. And he's going to deceive in that regard and in that way. So what are some of the things that we can see that the Antichrist now is going to be like? His personality, he's going to use flattery, he's a liar, he's cunning, he uses satanic insight in rhymes and riddles, he's bold-faced, he's religious, and he's a military commander. He's a political strategist, he's a builder of cities, he's a schemer, he's a financial whiz, he's a homosexual, he rejects his religious roots. He's a great speaker, he's a killer, he's a diplomat. He has a withered arm and blind right eye, and I believe this, he's bitter and he's unconsolable about his bitterness. So if you try to talk to him about his parents, if you try to talk to him about his history, he doesn't reveal his history. He's just a bitter man full of the power of Satan. Isn't that amazing? Now, I told you before that I wanted to give you a clue about where he comes from and what his nationality is. I believe that I have a clue.